Have you ever asked yourself the meaning of the two becoming one? If you look at Matthew chapter 19 from verse 5 to 6, it reads, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." Hello, this is Aunty Mary bringing the biblical truths to life, especially in light to the family being the basic unit of our society. Today, I will be talking on what oneness in marriage means. Marriage requires two complete people coming together to make oneness. A complete person is one who is mature and is ready to do everything that is needed by an adult's life and relationship, that is giving and taking love. A complete person is one who is honest, independent, having self-confidence, and allows his spouse to live uncontrolled. So marriage is a place where you come as a complete person to be with your complete spouse, and not a place where you come in to be completed. In a marriage relationship where one spouse is incomplete, he comes in to be completed by the complete spouse, that marriage will suffer a lot. Because coming in like an incomplete spouse will require the complete spouse to overwork him or herself. The marriage relationship will be very tedious, boring, and even having a lot of problems. Marriage requires two complete people to come and make oneness. In a marriage relationship, an incomplete person will come in to bring stress to the marriage. But when you come in like a complete person, then you are coming in to make your spouse better, to make your marriage a better place to stay, to make your marriage a happier place where you rejoice with one another. So you don't come in like a weak person, but you come in like a strong person, ready to help, accompany, or to complement your spouse who is also complete. I will talk about some areas where a spouse has to grow him or herself to become a complete person before getting into the union of marriage. You must grow yourself in being able to connect with the emotions of your spouse. You must be able to grow in the grace of forgiveness, of giving. You must be ready to grow in the area of saying no to a spouse, and will be willing also to accept no. Grow yourself in the area of being responsible, of being real. At least if you are not perfect, try to be real. Try to be honest. Grow yourself in those areas. And when you grow in these areas, then you come in to meet a spouse who has also grown in these areas. Then your marriage will be sweet and happy. Every human being has treasures hidden inside him or her. These treasures include your attitude, your choices, your desires, thoughts, values, talents, love, and feelings. So when a spouse comes in complete, you come in to manage these treasures inside your spouse. In a marriage where an incomplete spouse comes in so that the complete spouse will meet his or her need, there is this aspect of codependence. Codependence means a spouse does something wrong and blames it on the other spouse, or that spouse does something wrong and the spouse who was wrong is blaming him or herself for causing the other spouse to be angry. So codependence will not be found in a marriage where there are two complete people. A codependent person will expect his or her spouse to meet his or her needs. Philippians 4:6-7 says you should not be anxious When you read that place, it says that you should not be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer, petition, and thanksgiving, present your request to God. It does not say when you present those requests to God, God will grant your desires immediately. He says his peace will keep your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. So a codependent spouse will require that the other spouse meets all her needs. It is impossible. The characteristics of a complete person. A complete person is not controlling. A complete person connects with the emotions of his or her spouse. That is, you feel what your spouse feels. When your spouse is complaining about something, you listen and you empathize with him or her. A complete person thinks all the time about the happiness and growth of their marriage. He thinks all the time about making his spouse or her spouse happy and fulfilling all the time. A complete person understands that his or her spouse does not exist only to meet his or her needs, but he or she also has his or her own need. A complete person sacrifices for the spouse. He is not threatened because he has self-confidence. A complete person allows his spouse to feel free to go to places even without him, to go out with his friends. A complete person cherishes when his or her spouse is happy, even when he has nothing to gain. And a complete person would think of the effect of his actions or behavior or attitude on his or her spouse. So a complete person thinks about the treasures that are hidden inside his spouse, and he will not want to hurt that spouse. He will see that his choices are good. He will see that his love is complete to the spouse. He is faithful to his spouse. He is honest when he is talking or thinking about something or discussing with the spouse. He is honest when he is with the spouse in every aspect, both emotionally, psychologically, and even physically. So what are the consequences of a marriage where two incomplete people come in, or when one of the spouse is incomplete? That marriage will be so stressed up because that incomplete spouse will be so dependent. That incomplete spouse will make the complete spouse to overwork him or herself, and that marriage will not be enjoyed. Dear viewers, in our next video, we will be talking on the value that you place in your marriage as a complete person. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. I count so much on that. Thank you.